In this episode of the Rock and Roll Acid Test, we push the limits of musical body damage. John and Drew measure the mosh pit at a 6 speed metal show.
I can taste the blood!
Then, Mike takes the data to the shop to build out a mosh pit super crusher.
Give it a little hit.
Abby explores the limits of the larynx.
I'm thinking this looks like a giant vagina.
And can rock and roll really make your ears explode?
120, 122, 126.
John, Mike, Abby, and Drew are 4 music junkies on a mission, pushing the limits of sound and science in search of the truth.
Dude, my face is up here.
Get ready to take the Rock and Roll Acid Test.
So everybody's heard that rock and roll's dangerous, but is it really? Hell yeah, it is! Let's put this bitch to the test.
Right now, we're headed to one of rock and roll's most violent venues, the mosh pit.
The mosh pit is the swirling eye of the rock and roll storm. But every year, people get injured and even killed in the crush of the crowd. Fans of Pearl Jam and Smashing Pumpkins have both suffered rock concert casualties. But can moshing really kill you? Or are the papers missing the real story? What would it actually take to die in the pit? The Rock and Roll Acid Test is going to find out. Mike, John, and Drew are going to deconstruct the dangers of moshing by looking at the forces at play in the center of the pit.
Okay, so first, guard your face.
Guard your face.
Okay.
And always know where the nether regions are pointed.
And this is considered fun?
Oh yeah, this is a great time.
The acid test arsenal of sensory equipment is going to give the guys insight into the chaotic center of the pit.
This is gonna be great, because we really are gonna find out how much force and energy is brought into this room.
By using the same devices that quantify the extreme deadly energies existing in nature, the team can compare the pit to other forces that kill.
Yo, you got it?
First, the team has to scan for patterns in the chaos of the pit.
All right, so the goal for these hats with lights is we're gonna put them on a bunch of people's heads, and as they run around the mosh pit, we're gonna find out if there's a pattern that takes place during the moshing.
Across town, Abby's going to explore a more intimate form of rock and roll body damage.
Steven Tyler, the White Stripes, Mick Jagger, what do all these people have in common? Dr. Sugarman, certified rock and roll throat doctor. So while the boys are over at the club setting up shop, I'm going to get probed.
Major artists have canceled shows, even tours because they blew out their voices. But can you actually kill your voice, or is that just the music industry's best excuse?
I understand we're going to examine your vocal cords.
Yes,
It won't hurt.
that's what they all say.
As the lead singer of a rock band, Abby's done her fair share of screaming.
I stole your money. What is this procedure called?
Well, we're going to do a video laryngoscopy on you. Just breathe in and out there.
Like any living tissue, if you put the vocal cords under too much stress, they begin to break down.
Would you like to do it again?
That was it?
I haven't heard that since I was dating. Is it all right if we turn the lights out? You actually have lovely vocal cords.
Well, thank you.
That's nasty.
I'm thinking this looks like a giant vagina. It's kind of nasty looking.
The doctor concludes that over time, even temporary vocal strain can result in permanent damage. And Abby concludes that her throat looks a lot like a vagina.
Yay!
Well, I have a present for you, and you can put this out on your Christmas cards
Oh,
next year.
sweet.
That's you.
Awesome.
Back at the club, Mike, John, and Drew are geared up for their mosh pit measurements. They've even brought in a world-leading expert on smashing and bashing, geologist Eric Pounders. Eric's going to use his scientific skills to compare the force of the pit to another kind of deadly rock motion, an earthquake.
Their feet are going to go up above the ground, and the distance that they go up, coupled with their mass, is going to determine how much force is put into the earth.
A A seismograph tells you how powerful an earthquake is. The crew is going to see if their mosh pit can rock the Richter scale. With Abby's full-throated support, the acid test team reviews their arsenal of gadgets one last time.
Shock watches. Yeah. This is measuring how much impact.
It hurt.
When it turns from white to red, it means that it's measured over a certain amount of point. We've got 5 different levels.
Nice.
It's red.
Yeah. All right.
I'm a professional spanker.
The shock watches measure impact in G's, as in gravitational acceleration. An astronaut at liftoff experiences about 5 G's, whereas a head-on car crash at 30 miles per hour is about 45 G's. With the help of some hardcore moshers, it's time to rock the pit and separate mosh myth from rock reality.
The gear's ready. The fans are waiting. It's blast-off time.
As the speed metal surges, we start to see just how deadly this human hurricane can be. The average male reaches 200 heartbeats per minute at the height of orgasm.
Ay, Miguel, me gusta.
75 Gs is the average punch from a heavyweight fighter. As shock watches tally body collisions, the seismograph tracks the entire pit's earth-shaking vibrations. But is that energy and force strong enough to kill?
Man, this has been unbelievable. I think I need a massage. Bad.
All that slamming, crashing, and pummeling bruised some bodies, but didn't yet show us how the pit can kill. So up next, the guys take this experiment to a dangerous new level. And then Abby makes some noise with her vocal damage research.
What's up? This is Mike.
I'm John Law.
This is science.
This is rock and roll.
This is the rock and roll acid test.
The acid test is on a mission to find out if a mosh pit can actually kill.
Give it a little hit.
But first, it's time to check out the acid test sweet digs.
Welcome to the barn. This is where the magic happens.
Here at the Red Barn, the acid testers have all the gear they need to answer the burning questions of musical mythology.
Now, the key to any science project is gear, and this place is filled with it. Now, this is the drill press. This is the bandsaw. This is our compound miter saw. This is the best tool in the house. It's called a doyle.
Yeah, like that. Oh, yeah.
And without a doyle, you're pretty much lost. Cool, right?
Music fans love to pump up the volume, but few realize the real dangers that come with turning it up to 11. Guitarist Pete Townsend of The Who says that he's lost 60% of his hearing due to a life lived at full volume. But how? The crew is going to test the myth that there is such a thing as too loud.
See that thing? That represents a giant membrane that you'd find in your ear.
So you start turning the volume level up a little bit more, and you get this thing flexing up and down a little bit more violently. You go to a concert, you get 125 decibels. You can do hearing damage in just minutes, and that's gonna do instant hearing damage. So now you have an idea of how an eardrum works. Let's take this idea, scale it down, see if we can actually make an eardrum explode. Let's give this a good coat all the way out.
Using vellum, a material that closely matches human membrane, the team will see if they can create a sound wave big enough to blow out an eardrum.
Hold it.
Crank it.
Are you ready? All right, I'm turning it all the way up.
We're at 110.
110 is an iPod turned all the way up.
112, 115.
115 is a football stadium full of screaming fans.
120, 122, 126. It's off the chart. I think this proves that if the music's too loud, you really can make your ear explode.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Rock and roll makes your ears bleed.
The verdict is in. Crank it up too loud for too long, and music will be the last thing you ever hear. Next up, they want to find out what it really takes to
Kill your
Paul McCartney and Killer's frontman Brandon Flowers have canceled tours because of vocal damage. But how does a voice box break? And can that kind of damage really be permanent?
Show was hot last night.
How many times can you yell like that before you lose
I can
your
do it all
voice?
day.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, I could.
Your throat is a muscle. You have to warm it up.
There's plenty of muscles. Guys don't need to warm up. They just work like that.
I've got a challenge for you, bitch.
I'm ready.
Oh, yeah, you ready?
You and I gonna scream each other out?
Nope, your ass is grass. Yo, Matt!
Renowned for his powerhouse vocals, Matt is the frontman of punk band The Bronx and was voted Kerrang! Magazine's Best Screamer of the Year. Matt's gonna battle John to find out if you can actually scream your voice to death.
This little decibel meter here is going to show us who screams the loudest and who screams the longest.
90 decibels are produced by your typical jackhammer, and the human speaking voice ranges from 45 to 75 decibels. But now, Matt and John are entering the vocal danger zone, hitting decibel levels as high as 120 and beyond. Will their throats get thrashed? Matt just screamed louder than a chainsaw.
Check this out. I'm gonna get like 120.
John roared louder than a lion. After several solid screams, Matt's still holding strong. But John's vocal power is on the wane.
Oh! Woo! Actually, that made me feel dizzy.
It happens.
Ooh, now it's hitting my head.
So I've got our statistics here. The winner of the screaming match is Matt.
I thought it would be mine, and I just want to say goodbye.
But can screaming permanently kill your voice? It's back to Dr. Sugarman to get the lowdown on this myth once and for all.
John's been really cocky. Oh, I don't need to warm up. He's warming up for sissies.
The doctor takes a look at John's ravaged vocal cords.
This is called mucus bridging, and that happens at the very spot that people begin to develop a lump on the vocal cords.
The doctor concludes that while prolonged abuse can cause permanent damage, it's impossible to kill your voice with 1 day of screaming. And Abby concludes that John's throat also looks a lot like a vagina. Back at the barn, the pit is showing the team an incredible picture of crowd energy. They calculate that if the entire crowd at Madison Square Garden were one big mosh pit, it would register a 4.2 on the Richter scale. That's equal to the force of a small atomic bomb. A meteorologist confirms that movement in the pit mirrors some of the deadliest motion patterns on Earth.
Say if you made the Superdome one gigantic mosh pit, you can have very similar forces in that chaotic motion that a hurricane brings.
What happens when that storm of energy spirals outwards and fans get trapped between the surging crowd and the front of the stage? Is this the cause of concert casualty?
Just give me a little love, but don't hurt me.
Drew and John apply pressure to a standard scale to calculate one fan worth of force.
What did we get? Like 230 was the top?
Read it, Drew. 310. Oh, nice. So it looks like each person is 100 pounds. Like, and the more you stack it out, the higher it goes.
That's right.
What are we gonna do to take that up a level?
In order to simulate the crush power of the mosh pit, we've built a handy device that packs a rockin' punch.
It's the fluffer, right? The fluffer?
The crusher.
The crusher, yeah,
Don't
sure.
you forget it.
Yeah, we'll see. Pull it back a little more.
I think that's about as far back as it goes. So you gotta suck your breath in here. This is gonna be just like the front of the pit.
Give me the tickle button.
There's your button.
Okay. Just do me a favor. If I fall asleep, wake me up, okay?
All right. So we were trying to reproduce the effect of being at the front of the crowd, having a surge of people behind you. What does it take where you start losing your breath and you start to asphyxiate?
Okay, well, let's
And
see where it
as the
goes.
pressure builds, as it's pressing against him,
That's nice. This thing works.
feels good, right?
I'm gonna give it a little hit.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, we're at like 100 PSI.
PSI is a measurement of force in pounds per square inch. 500 PSI will flatten a full can of beer.
This is holy. You want to come back?
No, I'm just gonna sit here for a second and see what it feels like.
You're about $125 PSI.
The pressure John's feeling is equal to 6 moshers pounding on his chest.
Oh, I can do it one more time.
Don't do it.
No.
Be careful,
You
man.
turn around as soon as I hit it. Okay.
How's it feel now, Mr. Fluffer?
That wasn't funny.
No. And you start to get the idea of being in the
Well,
front row of a
yeah.
concert, right?
No, that wouldn't be cool.
What happens when we apply this direct and deadly crushing power on a huge concert-sized scale?
We're gonna crush something big now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's the obvious thing?
People.
Bingo.
Coming up, we bring out the big guns. The acid testers are going to the most dangerous place in music. The front row of a raging mosh pit to find out where and how the crowd's forces combine and what it takes for body damage to turn deadly.
We saw what happened to John inside the Crusher. We need to translate all of that force into a larger scale and really demonstrate what happens when a big crowd is surging forward, nailing that front row real badly.
So we need a crowd crusher.
The team sets out to design a solid steel crowd crusher modeled after a medieval battering ram. One person's pushing strength is about 100 pounds. So by building a crusher that can handle as few as 6 and as many as 50 people, we can ramp up the crushing power to an obliterating 2.5 tons of force.
We've got the crowd crusher built. We've got our line of dummies all ready to go. So let's find out what happens when we get 50 crazy fans and go nuts. You guys ready to do this?
Yeah.
Let's break some bones!
A pressure reader is mounted on the wall above the dummy crowd. Doyle mans the gauge to determine how many pounds of pressure our crowd can generate as their numbers increase.
John actually put real ribs at the front of the crusher. So when this thing hits these mannequins, these bones might actually break.
They're gonna be barbecued on the spot.
Bring in the crusher!
The first 6 people generate a little over 600 pounds of pressure. Breathing becomes labor, and panic sets in. The team decides to double the manpower.
1157!
A femur will snap at 1,200 to 1,800 PSI, and ribs fracture under far less pressure. Now, they start adding new people every few seconds, just like at a real rock show.
2,118 pounds!
The pressure readout starts to spike
5,000 pounds!
as our body doubles start looking a lot worse for the wear.
Bring it back like a couple feet, guys. Tons of damage, lots of blood. Now, I was watching this real close. When it came in, it actually collapsed his whole chest.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That looked
there
horrifying.
was-
That reminded me of somebody I know.
Don't do it.
Oh, yeah, me!
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
right.
5,000 pounds of pressure is equivalent to having an average-sized elephant sit on your chest. The acid test wants to up the ante one more time. Like the crowd at a large club, a bulldozer has the crushing power of almost 1,500 concert goers, nowhere near the massive size of an arena rock audience. This keg represents the structural strength of over 1,000 human rib cages.
We've got puncture wounds. We got this thing folded almost all the way in half. These things are built strong, too.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like 1,500 fans can definitely kill a keg.
Yeah. Looks like 50 fans could crush a whole front row dead.
Rock and roll can definitely do some body damage.
Well, boys, I think we've had a good day's work. Our business is done here.
See you guys.